Hello, welcome. My name is Amanda from Brown Dog Gadgets. I'm the Education Outreach Coordinator here. Behind the camera helping me out is my main man, Pete.
Hello.
Say hi, Pete.
I don't know if my mic's on, but
That's all right.
Hey, I think that works. Okay, hi everybody.
Awesome. Our main goal here at Brown Dog Gadgets is to start getting a little more active in our live streaming, bringing you different projects that you can create in your classrooms or at home, different STEM activities, and lots of different things you can bring into your classrooms. Today we are going to be focusing on a paper circuits project that I have connected to Read a Book Day, which is September 6th. We'll jump into that in a minute, but if you have not followed us yet on any of our social media platforms, Pete's going to throw that up on the screen. Please find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and YouTube. Also, if you are following us right now, please feel free to subscribe, to like, send us messages. We love to engage as well. So if you've got any questions you would like to email us, you can email us at help@browndoggadgets.com. If you've got ideas that you would like us to live stream about, please let us know those things as well. Awesome. So like I said, we are going to do some paper circuits projects today that relate to Read a Book Day, which is September 6th. That is coming up. So these projects would be fun to actually be able to engage with the classroom and get kids excited. So the first thing I want to talk about, and Pete, I'm going to have us switch to the overhead camera, please. If you are not familiar with paper circuits, we do have a great resource on our website. It is our Getting Started with Paper Circuits ebook. That's what I'm showing you right here. It's got great information on the different parts of a paper circuit, some tricks that we have using paper circuits. And then it actually gives you a bunch of templates as well, from a very simple paper circuit all the way up through using motors, and then some great ideas of projects that we have too at Brown Dog Gadgets. So lots of great resources in there. The resources on our website, templates, ebooks, all those things are free for you. It's not behind a paywall. Just go to browndoggadgets.com and you can get all that stuff for free. So we are going to jump into our project today. The first project we're going to make is this handy dandy book lamp. I decorated this one a little bit. Once you close the switch, it lights up and you can clip it onto your book. And of course, I forgot to bring a book in here today, but that's okay. I can use this as my book. So I can actually clip this on.
I have a notebook.
You have a notebook? That works. I'll take it.
Ready? Exciting.
Also, like I said, please feel free to throw comments in the chat or comment. We would love to be able to interact with people as well. So I'm going to take this onto one of the back pages of this notebook that Pete so graciously let me borrow. And I'm going to close that circuit. And then I've got my little handy dandy lamp that I can use as I'm reading or looking at Pete's really great illustrations. Awesome. So we'll jump into making this. A lot of the different templates on our website actually have great opportunities for kids to get involved in coloring those things as well. This is definitely one of them. So this is our paper circuit book lamp. We do highly suggest when you print our templates off from the website that you print them on some thicker cardstock. They just stand up better when kids are building the circuits on them. Printer paper does work. However, when you put the circuitry on there, it just becomes flimsy and doesn't stand up as well. So we would always recommend printing on thicker cardstock as well. Awesome. And then if you guys can tell me, I would love to hear, throw into the comments or in the chat if you've ever done paper circuits before. I know there are a lot of people that have done paper circuits with copper foil tape. Copper foil tape has been kind of the industry standard for a long time. And it seems to be something that has really scared people away from doing paper circuits in the classroom because it can be very finicky. It can be hard for students to use. It makes it so it can rip really easily for students. So one of the things that we do have here at Brown Dog Gadgets is we have something called our maker tape. Maker tape is a conductive nylon tape. It's conductive all the way through, so you can actually just cut pieces and overlap them. You can still do right angle turns if you would like to. You can use it to make a loop of tape underneath the battery to hold it down. All those things make it really easy to use. It is also not terrible. Like, you can't tear it, you can't rip it. You do need to use a scissors to cut it, which also makes it really handy for students. They won't just rip it and end up with a hot mess going on. So we love our maker tape here at Brown Dog Gadgets. It just makes paper circuits so much easier to use. All right, so we're going to check out our paper circuit book lamp. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out all along the edges. Typically, I wouldn't make you watch me cut it, but it is a pretty simple cut. And Pete, I would love to know if we've seen anything about people using paper circuits or copper foil before, if anyone's done any commenting at all yet.
I'm not seeing any comments yet.
No worries.
But
No
we're
worries.
Still, we're still figuring out this.
We are definitely still figuring this out.
Multi-streaming
So thank you to those of you who are sticking with us, checking the stuff out. We really appreciate it. All right. So I've cut out my template. And then this is the perfect time where I could color the back if I wanted to. I could get really decorative. I could, use colored pencils, markers, Sharpies work really great. Ours is a little bit shinier, so the colored pencils don't show up as well, but crayons would work wonderful as well. And then typically on our website, you will see directions either on the template or on the website directly, where you can go step by step through those directions to help you assemble the project. So we are going to go ahead and put this together. I am going to snip right here because that part is going to help me out with the LED. And then I am going to fold along this solid line here. Now that can be tricky when when it is that thicker paper. One thing that does help a lot, if you have a ruler or a straight edge, laying that down and using something like a safety pin to kind of score that edge can be really helpful. It could definitely help you fold it a little bit better. We're just going to try it out today and see how my folding skills are. And it won't be perfect, but you know what? That's okay. Not bad.
I like to use a X-Acto knife or a bone folder to score it for a fold. It's worked out too.
So many great ideas. Awesome. And now we're going to actually start building our pathways. I am going to grab one of my LEDs. If you are not familiar with using LEDs in paper circuits, you will notice that when you're looking at this LED here, there is a shorter leg and there's a longer leg of the LED. The longer leg is the positive leg of the LED, where the shorter leg is the negative leg. That is extremely important when building your circuitry because you need to make sure that the positive LED leads back to the positive side of the battery and that the negative side leads to the negative side of the battery. So I am going to make sure I'm paying attention to which one is negative and positive. And I'm going to go ahead and bend those to match my picture up top. I see Mary said that she has used both copper and nylon tape, and she loves the nylon tape because it is much easier to work with. Mary, I absolutely agree. It is a breeze in comparison. All right, so I'm going to make sure that my LED is placed up top here with the longer leg. I should slide it down so you can see. With the longer leg on this side that has the directions that tell you longer leg or positive, and then the shorter leg on the left there. My directions do have me starting with tape path A. There are two different ways that you can use the maker tape. It looks like the last time I used this roll, I actually just peeled it from the back and cut that way. You can also measure it out and cut strips directly from it. It's completely up to you. Sometimes giving just a nice long strip to students is helpful. But we also do have these handy roll holders, these maker tape holders. These are 3D printed. We have those files on our website as well. So if you want to grab that file to make your own 3D printed tape holder, they are extremely handy. All right. So I'm just going to follow my paths that are laid out on the template. So I've got path A, which is going to go under the battery. I'm just going to press that down. And then if you notice, there isn't actually a B on a path anywhere. Tape or B is actually the tape loop that's going to hold the battery to the project, and it's going to be conductive all the way through. So all I'm going to do is cut a small piece of tape, not that big, and I'm going to turn it into a tape loop, just like you would on the back of a poster. And I'm going to put it right on top of tape path A. Now I can take one of my batteries. Also, we've got these great battery holders on the website. This is also a 3D printed file that Pete so graciously made and put up there. Very handy. And I'm going to place my battery on top of that tape loop with the positive side facing up. So that was path B. That was the tape loop. Then I've got path C that's going to lead all the way up to the negative side or the negative leg of my LED. And I'm going to start at the LED leg because I'm going to use this path to hold that leg in place. So, and sometimes cutting your paths ahead of time can make it a little bit less to deal with, a little bit easier to manage too. So that's completely up to you. It is important. I've got two paths that are going to be right next to each other at the top here. It's important that those paths do not touch. If those paths do touch, it will short circuit the project. I'm going to take that all the way down and have it intersect with tape path A. You're going to see that I overlapped those paths. I'm just going to make sure that's pressed down securely so I have a nice connection. And then at the LED leg, I'm going to run my fingernail along the sides of that leg just to make sure I've got a really strong connection. Now, right now, I've got the short LED leg leading all the way back to the bottom of the battery, which is the negative side. So negative LED leg to the negative side of the battery. And then I'm going to continue with my tape path. So I've got tape path D here. And I think this is getting a little bit cumbersome, so I'm going to measure it out this time. So I'm going to measure out my path and cut it. If you are working with a fresh end that's just been cut, we do have a great tip here at Brown Dog Gadgets to get it off of that backing. So you hold it with about 1 centimeter or so sticking up in the front with the shiny side facing you. And then you just kind of rub your finger along the top a couple times. And then it'll pull off. Chris mentioned that graphite pencils work great too for making circuits. That is a very cool concept. Thank you, Chris. I feel like that might get a little messy though. I feel like I would have pencil everywhere. Or like I would touch it and
Yeah, I think the resistance is pretty high too. I think we played around with that a while ago, but it adds a lot of resistance to the circuit.
gotcha. All right, so then I connected this path, I believe this was D here. And if you notice, these two paths do not touch. Like I said, if my positive and negative do touch there, I will short circuit it. So I don't want to do that. And then I'll keep going with path E. Measure out my path. If you wanted to, you could even have these pre-measured as well. You could have them cut prior to class and then just hand them out. It will take some practice for students to be able to get the tape off the backing, but you always get those kids who get it right away, and then they can be the professionals for everyone else. And then we've got tape path F and G here. Now, one thing you're going to notice about tape paths F and G is there is a little gap in between the two. And Pete, can you zoom in on that for me? Is that something I do or you do? I don't
I
remember.
can do that. Hold on.
All right.
Let's see if I can get this right.
Pete's so helpful, you guys. He's wonderful. Awesome. So you're going to see that tape path F ends at that line there, and tape path G starts a little bit below that. There is a reason for that. It is important that you leave that gap there because, ooh, nice and sharp. Thank you, Pete. That gap is going to make sure that you can actually turn off your circuit. We're going to be using a binder clip today to engage the circuit or to connect that circuit, make it a closed circuit. So I want to make sure that gap stays there. And then tape path G is going to go to the top of the battery. That's going to connect that positive LED leg to the positive side of my battery. Just like that. So right now, my light is not going to light up because I do have this gap in the circuit. What we're going to do is we're going to take a binder clip and I'm going to open up the clip so I can access just one side of it. And I'm going to take some maker tape and just wrap it around a few times to make sure that there's a nice pad that can connect when that is engaged. Now, since it is rounded, it's not completely flat, it does sometimes take a little bit more tape to make sure that it can engage and connect that circuit. So there are a couple things that you can do. You can add more tape. You can also add little pads of tape on either side of the gap as well to make sure it's got more to come in contact with. I saw Pete's, one of his projects that had something like this involved, and I saw those little pads there. He was nodding his head in the background just now because he.
No, I just thought it was a good idea when you said it. But
I swore you
I
did
do
it.
I probably did it.
I know. It's been a while. And I'm just wrapping it around a few times just to make sure that when it touches, it actually connects. And then I'm going to open up my clip, clip it onto the page, and then it should, when I have it closed, light up. Now you're going to see that it is a little bit finicky. It doesn't stay lit completely if I move this up and down a little bit. So there are two different ways that you can manage that. You can either do those little pads underneath like I talked about, or the one that I did, I actually just ran a piece of tape over the top, just connecting from one side to the other, just to make sure that connection was solid. And then when I do open it up, there is a little bit of tape that hangs off the edge, but that's always easily replaced if need be. So I'm going to have you zoom out for me a little bit, Pete.
All right.
Zooming in, zooming out, all that fun stuff.
There. That worked. We want in a little.
So Chris, you're right. There are a lot of cool ways to make switches. I was actually working on modifying our lesson plans around paper circuits today. We're trying to work on making sure that we've got curriculum on the website that is usable as well as up to date. Right now, the website has paper circuit lessons, but they're actually from COVID. So they talk about things that you can do at home to do paper circuits. And one of the lessons has 4 different kinds of switches that you can make. So I was just working on updating that one today. So one of them is a binder clip. Then we talk about like a lever switch, which we also use in our wands. Then there was the using a paper clip and being able to do a single pole double throw switch. Learned that term recently. As well as, what was the last one? There are 4.
Binder clip, paper clip, lever switch, and push button.
Oh, and then the push button. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I close this, then it makes that circuit connect. And then to make it a little bit more book friendly, what I can do is take a little bit of tape, just some clear tape. And I'm just going to tape this little pathway down right on top there. I'll put a piece of tape up here. Just gives it a little bit more, makes it a little more sturdy. And then I'm going to take this tab and I'm going to push it behind my LED and take a little piece of tape and tape that down as well. Okay. Then the last thing I need to do to make my book lamp fully functional is I'm just going to gently fold my top part down. So then it's angled forward. So then that light will shine down on the book when it is clipped on. And then to clip it on, all you do is find like the back page of the book. So I'll show you on Pete's notebook that he brought me. You find the back page of the book, you put it on that page, and you use that binder clip to hold it down to the back page. And then you just go ahead and close the clip. And then your book light is there. Oh, thank you, Pete.
Yeah.
There we go. So that is our first paper circuit project that we wanted to highlight, which was our book lamp. We thought it was really helpful too to talk about things for books, like a book lamp, as well as a bookmark with National Read a Book Day coming up in the beginning of the school year. We really want to get kids engaged in reading, getting excited about books. So this was a really good way to kind of start the school year off, get some really good ideas out there, and get them excited about reading and excited about circuitry and paper circuits at the same time. The second project, thank you, Chris, I appreciate the applause. The second project that we're going to do today is a bookworm. And this little guy can be used as a bookmark. So I'll show you how he works right now. He's got 2 little eyes that we're gonna, when we fold over the back here, we've got a little switch, and then he lights up. And then you can actually use a clip to keep that in place. And if you wanted to, you could use it as a book lamp as well. So I can take my other book lamp off of this, and I can put him towards the back of my book. And then I can read with my little guy in place. And sometimes it is helpful to use like 2 paper clips, and it'll help that connection stay a little bit stronger. But then what I can do when I'm done reading is take off the binder clip, and I'm going to put it just right in the middle here where there's a gap. And then I can use it just as a bookmark, and I won't run out the batteries. This little guy is actually from, we work with someone called Natasha. She is Techno Chick. So if you want to see some of her projects, we have a bunch of things that she's helped us out with on our website, but you can also check her out. I believe it's technochick.net, or check her out on YouTube. She's got some really fun projects too. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and build our bookworm. Awesome. Like I said, all of our templates are online free of charge. So if you've already got batteries, you've got LEDs, maybe you even already have maker tape, you could just go onto our website, print these off on some heavy cardstock, and you're good to go. There is something that we put on this actual template to help you out too. The 2.5 inches and the 3 inches marks here are for the back that you can use to help you measure the length of the tape. So if you do want to pre-cut pieces of tape, or if you want students to actually line it up and cut tape that way, that's definitely there for you as an option. So the first thing that you would want to do is have students color in this cute little bookworm. He is adorable. You could use colored pencils, you could have them use markers, you could have them use crayons. I like to color it in before I cut it out. That way I don't have to be too careful about the edges. So once you've colored it in, then you're going to go ahead and cut it out. So you'll go ahead and cut around the edge of that, and you'll cut out the 2 little antennae at the top. One note about the antenna and how we attach it, the directions online do have you use a binder clip at the top, but since we've actually published this, we found better ways to attach the battery, like a tape loop. So I'm going to use a slightly different version to attach things, just so you know. All right, so color it and cut it, and then you'll have something like this. Isn't he cute? I took a lot of time to color this for you guys yesterday, just so you know. It was a labor of love. Thank you, Pete. And then one of the things that is very important when you are putting LEDs through a piece of paper. So the one that we just did actually had the circuitry and the LED all on the same side of the paper. This is going to have the LEDs on one side, and the circuitry is going to be hidden on the back. So if you are putting the legs of an LED through some paper, it is important to use a tool to get through that cardstock. If you try to take LED legs and poke them through the cardstock, you will most likely bend and or break those legs. So I like to take something like a safety pin or a push pin, and all you're going to do is poke 2 small holes next to each other right through the eyes. It feels a little aggressive, but you know, he's going to be super cute afterwards. It'll be fine. Mary, I agree. I love the caterpillar idea too. I thought it was super clever. Little caterpillar bookworm kind of thing. If you have our LEDs, there are some white LEDs that are in our paper circuits kits. They are not all white. Some of them are color changing. So the way that you would figure out if your LED is actually white or color changing is by looking at the circle that goes around the base. If it has a complete circle that goes around, it is white. If it has flat parts, so this one has a flat side here and a flat side here, it is color changing. It is kind of important to test out your LEDs before you actually create your whole project. So to test out your LED, you could just take one of our CR2032 batteries and make sure that the positive leg goes to the positive side of the battery, negative to the negative side, and hold it in place. And you'll see this is one of those color changing LEDs. So if you're not sure if it's a white LED or color changing, you can always just test it out to make sure. And I think the color changing are my favorite.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. So we're going to use color changing today. I'm going to check this one too just to make sure, because one white eye and one color changing eye could be interesting. but I'm going to go with 2 color changing LEDs today. All right. Now, a lot of our projects do have templates built into them on where the tape paths go, kind of like the book lamp did. However, the bookworm does not. The directions online do go very clearly through where things go, but you'll see that I'm kind of going along as I do this. Chris, he said, can all of your projects use solar power instead of coin batteries? I believe all of our paper projects can, yes. Is that correct, Pete?
Well,
I mean, they could.
most of them are designed, for
Right.
the battery stuff. Yeah, you could swap in a solar cell for a battery for a few things, depending on what you're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
We do also have a lot of really great solar projects as well on our website. We've got our solar bugs, our solar critters. We have a new solar race car, our solar racer, which is really awesome. It actually moves pretty quickly too. We have our solar science station as well as a solar house. So if you are looking for solar projects, we have a ton. We also have curriculum around a lot of it as well too. So ways you can use it in the classroom. All right, so I took my 2 LEDs. I went ahead and put them through the holes in the front, and I'm gonna flip him over to be able to actually assemble on the back. I'm gonna have the battery up top here. So I want my negative legs to be underneath that battery. So I'm gonna fold my negative legs up to the top. And you're going to see that they actually go over the edge. I don't want that. So I'm gonna fold them inward. I'm gonna bend them. They do bend pretty easily. My 10-year-old also found out they can break pretty easily. He broke one off. I still have not broken one myself after working here since April, but he broke one pretty quickly when he was building a solar house for me.
You haven't broken one yet?
I haven't.
Wiggle it back and forth.
Well, I don't want to break it on purpose, Pete.
You got to know what you're talking about, so you should probably break one today.
I mean, he broke it pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I've got my negative LED legs bent up towards the top, and I'm going to take my positive LED legs and bend them down towards the bottom. There we go. I'm going to use a little piece of maker tape to hold down my negative LED legs at the top there. And the great thing is, since they're both negative, I can just have them be together under one piece of tape. Maker tape is also really handy because if you don't have enough or you have too much, you can just cut and add more or take some away. And then, like I said before, I'm going to rub my nail around the edges of those legs. I really want to make sure it makes a good connection. There's nothing worse than, kids do the whole project and then they think it should work and it doesn't. So some of those tricks of making sure you're checking those LED legs for polarity, you're making sure that there's good connection with the tape and the legs. Those are all really important things. And then I'm going to take my battery. I'm going to make another tape loop right on top of that path. And I'm just going to put it right on top of that. And that is going to hold my battery in place and make a good connection for my circuit. All right, now we mentioned on the template that there were these strips here. I'm going to use these to measure for the strips in the back. I do think it's quite handy. I could just kind of do a strip down and see how it goes, but I think measuring it out is the way to go sometimes. So I'm going to need one that's 3 inches long. That's going to be the one that goes from the positive side of the battery all the way down the length of the bookworm. And I'm going to need 2 that are 2.5 inches long. And I know we already discussed switches earlier. We are going to actually build more switches, or another switch, into this project as well. Chris mentioned it must be easier to get paper off the back with nails. You know, I don't
disagree.
use them.
Oh,
I don't use them. I actually really love the trick. So my first day here, I was building one of the projects and Josh kind of just gave me things and he was like, here, try this. He wanted me to just kind of follow the directions, see how it went. And I'm sitting there and I'm really trying to get it with my nail and it was just not working. I was struggling and he came in, he told me the little trick that I told you guys earlier. He goes, hold it really close to the top and pull down a couple times and it'll just kind of come off. It really is a great trick. And Pete, were you saying you disagree?
oh yeah, it's life-changing being able to just put your finger across the top, because before I would seriously like start a piece of tape and just stick it on my desk with the whole roll because it was so hard for me to get my fingernail in there. So yeah.
Yeah, once
That's
you
very
get
good.
that like feeling down, yeah, I haven't used my nails to do it at all.
Yeah.
I've used them for other things, like peeling it off of a Lego base plate. But, all right, so I'm going to take the longer strip. I'm going to attach it to the top of the battery. And I'm going to run it down the middle of those legs, not touching them. I don't want this path to actually touch those LED legs because I do want to build a switch into it. Now, technically, I could just connect them to this path and just have it always be on. I could do that. But being able to turn it off, I think, is one of the draws to it. So I'm going to take these other 2 paths and I'm going to use those to hold down my positive LED legs. Same tip as before, running my nail along the sides of it. Chris asked, what side of the tape do you brush down on to separate the tape from the paper? The conductive side. So I have the shiny conductive silver side facing up because that side is more flexible, whereas the paper is a little more stiff. That's a great question. Thank you. And I'm going to do the same thing on this leg. Now, the same concept goes for this project. Well, I guess it's not the same concept. For the other project, if my 2 paths that were right next to each other touched, it was going to short circuit. However, these are my positive legs and it's leading to the positive side of the battery. So if I connect these, it won't short circuit. But I don't want them to touch because I don't want my project to constantly be on. I want to be able to turn it off. Now, if I decide wherever I have my little switch that I'm going to build in, that it's too far away, I can literally just cut another piece of tape and run it down further. That's the great part of Maker Tape, is that I can overlap. If I don't have enough, I can just plop it right back on top. I don't have to repeat, or I don't have to take off what I've already done and do it over, which with copper tape can be really tricky because sometimes once you've put it down, you can't get it back up either. But the great thing with this stuff is I can get it back up. So I am going to take bottom portion here, maybe about like here, and I'm going to fold it up. This is where that switch is going to be built in. And I'm going to kind of eyeball. I want my strip of Maker Tape to go right across here. So I'm going to eyeball where that would be in relationship on here. And I'm going to make a little tape, a pad, maybe 2 strips going across to make sure that it matches up. So I'll just, and if I put it down and it is not the right place, like I said, I can just pull it up, put it down somewhere else. I have not ruined anything because I put it in the wrong place, which is great. All right, so if I fold it up, does it turn it on. And it does. Yay! So you can see my color changing LEDs. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. My color changing LEDs are changing. They just make it so much more engaging. So there's a couple ways that you finish up this project. It's not quite complete yet. One is you can take a binder clip or paper clips and actually hold it in place down below so it stays on. The other thing is if you just want it to stay on, you could even just take some maker tape and put a tape loop here and just connect it. When you pull it apart, you should probably take that piece of tape off so it doesn't get stuck to other things or to your book, but that's definitely an option. So I've got this little guy. He's going to stay connected for me for now. And then there's two things that I want to do to finish. First, I want to put his little antennas on because they're just so darn cute. And they're over here somewhere. I've got a pile of stuff. There we go. Now, this was the part that in the directions, they actually have you use the binder clip up there and you glue it onto a binder clip because the binder clip is holding the battery in place. However, that tape loop really does a great job itself. So I am going to use just a little bit of glue. I dropped it earlier. Just a little bit of regular glue stick. I'm going to put it on his head and glue the antenna on. Just like that. And then my favorite part of this project, because I really think it makes it, is I'm going to take a Sharpie and draw little circles in the middle of the eyes because it just makes it look so much cuter. So just, and sometimes if you like put them off center a little bit, it looks like he's looking up. He or she. And there we go. There is our bookworm or caterpillar bookmark. And then when we want to, we can turn it off by just disengaging that binder clip. And then if you do put the binder clip while you're storing it in this area, the clip is conductive. That metal part is conductive. So it will actually bridge the gap between those pathways. So when you're storing it, just be mindful of that. So I like to put it kind of in the middle here or down towards the bottom. That way it's not going to bridge that gap on me and waste my battery. The other thing that you can do if you've decided to just tape it up, if you wanted to turn it off, you can always just pull that battery back and store it that way as well. And then if you need to replace the tape loop, you can, but then you're not wasting your battery. You just put it back up like that. There we go. So there is our bookmark bookworm. He's pretty darn cute. Like I said, those templates are on our website for free, so you go ahead and grab them. If you need the project, or if you need the pieces to make the project, so if you need LEDs, if you need batteries, if you need binder clips, all of the things that I used today come in our Light Up Paper Circuits kit. So this kit has it has 30 jumbo LEDs, it has 10 batteries, 10 binder clips, and it comes with a small roll of maker tape that's actually already on a little dispenser as well, a little 3D printed dispenser. So all of that is included in this. And then all of those templates that we have on the website, we've got a ton of different projects that you can create. Those are some of those things that I'm going to come on a couple times a week and do some different projects. So we would love for you guys to join us for some of our other live streams. If you are new to Brown Dog Gadgets or new to Maker Tape, the other option we have too is our Educator Sample Kit. So you can request a sample. The sample includes a couple different things. It includes our LED light up name tag. It includes a solar bug. It also includes an acrylic name badge. It includes a bristle bat, and it includes directions to be able to build a wearable. Those are free for educators, so you can request one by going to our website, browndoggadgets.com, and find request a sample. And then you can get that sample mailed to you and try out some of the maker tapes, some of our projects, and see if it's something that you think would work in your classroom. Next week, Wednesday, same time, I'm actually going to do an unboxing of that sample kit and go through some projects that you can build with that and some different ideas to go along with that sample kit. So if you requested ahead of time, you could actually unbox it with me next week. Once again, just a reminder, I would love for you to follow us on social media. So if you have any, you can go follow us, comment on things, check out some of our videos, like and subscribe, all these, buzzwords. Like I said, too, if you have any projects that you would love for us to demo on a live stream or anything you're curious about, please feel free to email us as well at help@browndoggadgets.com, and we would love to hear from you that way as well. I hope this was beneficial. I hope you guys got some really good information out of it. We love paper circuits here at Brown Dog Gadgets. There's so many fun, creative ways to be able to make things light up and make them engaging while also really being hands-on and learning about circuitry in the classroom. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully you will see us there, and we hope you have a great day. Thanks for coming.